No. No. Really? Should use neon markers.
Just making the comments.
There's this like new thing where they have this like plexiglass where you draw on front of it. It's pretty neat. Okay. All right. So currently the wrapper is 50 by 50. That's what we're seeing here. Yeah. Okay. So I want this 200% by 200%. I'm going to take that overflow off to hidden, meaning I don't want to see any of that stuff. I see that one. Let's put that back on. Let's scroll back on. It's still scrolling up and down here. Okay. Notice that that is now 200%. The sections, or 100% of their parent, which is 200% of the browser. So we're going to take those widths down to 50%. So now they're 50% of that.
But they're still 200%.
204 is to the right.
So you need 50%.
All right, I actually left the float on there too. So float left is on. This is for my previous example here. So, sorry about that.
You need the height to be 52.
Height to be 50%. You mean 50 also?
As well.
Let's take that float off for a second. Okay, so now they're stacked, but they're inside that wrapper. And there should be some room to the right. Sound cool? Okay. Let's change this so we can scroll the body. The body's not scrolling by default here. So it's just not reading it. Okay, no big. Okay, so then we're going to float these so they're 4 by 4. So float left. And if you wanted to go in the opposite direction, you could float them right and then scroll everything to the left side. Pretty cool. Okay, so all right, here it is, and nothing's scrolling currently because we need that JavaScript to handle all that scrolling for us. Okay? So we need a couple of things. We're using jQuery, so if we're using jQuery, what must we have a link to? The jQuery library. Someone said CDN. Oh my God. You guys are super geniuses. I just so happen to have those links elsewhere. I don't want to waste a bunch of time. This might take as much time. No, sorry. It's in documents. This is my working model. Just like a cooking show. Got the completed version there. Ready to go? Okay, so here's my link to the jQuery library. Okay, save. All right, so I'm in Dreamweaver, and a good test for that is this little link will come up, and I should see all the Jabberwocky here. If I don't see that, it will not work. Okay? If I do not have that link, it will not work. Do not go anywhere else until you see that, or it won't work, and it'll be pointless, and I will get very mad. Okay, so with the library, we need to initiate some things, correct? So we're going to do that with an external JavaScript page. I'm going to just create a new one. All right. Say myscript.js. Replace that. Okay. Save that. I must link to that. Oh, sorry. Don't nest those. Okay. What's the relative path? I'm here in this index. What's the relative path to myscript.js? . What'd you say there, Lee?
Slash.
No slash.
Isn't it just my script?
It's just my script, right? I'm here, I see you. No slash, because that would be weird if I said slash, Lee, sup, slash. If you want to go to the lunchroom, that's // Gander / lunchroom. Yeah, so no slash. Okay, so just my script. Save that. And that should pop up here. I mean, Dreamweaver's actually pretty great about giving us some things. It says not on local disk, so I made a mistake.
Is it because you have that space, or does that not matter?
It's capital S.
Spaces matter. Sometimes.
Isn't it 'cause it's capital
Yeah,
S?
it's actually probably this space. We'll test it though. It's a good question. It's not case. It was the
But it's not
space.
case sensitive.
No. Some are. Servers are more case sensitive for security reasons. Okay. Pretty cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know that that is linked. So with jQuery, there's going to be one method. You're going to select the document. You're going to use the ready method. And to test it, I'm just going to put an alert. Okay. Alert. If I don't get that, and it's not working, I must get that before I can move ahead. However, after it works, I must take it off. It's very annoying. It's crazy annoying. Oh, it's horrible. Take that off. Take the 2 seconds to take that off. Here's another secret alert that you can adopt. Console log. Okay? Well, that's tricky. What is that? Well, Grandma, let me tell you. My grandma was asking. In this little cool guy here, there's something called console, and I said log, and it put the word work there. So I'm actually utilizing this little cool tool to do that alert for me, so it doesn't pop up. Sorry, make sure an emergency's not happening. No. Not at all. Okay. All right, so I've linked to the jQuery web library. I've got my alert. Okay. Scroller. The scrolling functionality is a plugin. It's not written by jQuery. It's written by some awesome dude who made this available to us through GitHub. There is a CDN out there. SKRO. Scroller. This person, Prinzorn, did that for us. Here's the example. This is crazy complicated. It's very hard to kind of traverse, so I don't recommend really looking at that a ton. You can look at it once you get once you dip your toe in the water, but it's pretty overwhelming if you just look at it. There is a CDN for this, so if we just go SKR scroller CDN. Yeah, this makes sense. Here's the link to that one. All right, a little tricky here. We must put that after the jQuery library, but before our script. Can anybody tell me why?
It has to go to the library first and then plugin second. It goes in order.
It goes in order. So this is going to be asking something of the library. Does that make sense? So if the library is not loaded, this won't mean anything. Won't know what to do. This is going to be asking something of this plugin and of this. So if this is loaded before that, won't work for the same reason. So these things load in order. 99% of your problems, well, not 99, but a lot of your problems are just based on this order. It's either path or order. Someone's locked out. Please help them. Okay, so we're linked to that. Once again, we can test and make sure our link is correct in. There it is. In Dreamweaver, which is very nice. Enjoy that. Okay. all plugins need to be initiated in some way. So we can look up Scroller. It's on that GitHub though. Let's back up. All right. Abstract. Let's get started. Okay, so this is just the minimum. var s equals scroller init. So we're just initializing that plugin. I'm just going to copy this. We talked about this before. Sometimes rather than using the document ready, they just put all their scripts at the end of the page. Everything gets loaded and then it initializes. So it works the same way. Just FYI, don't copy HTML. It won't work in JavaScript. These are tags, right? They only work in HTML. So try to be a little clear about what's happening. There's probably an example down here that says what I had said. Okay, so we're going to do it in an external document because that's how I like to work, and I want you to work the way I like to work. It's the beauty of being a teacher. So this is being initialized, hopefully. We've linked to the jQuery, we've linked to Scroller, we've linked to this. Okay, so the structure of this is pretty simple. It uses its example in here. It uses the new attribute called data. So attributes are written in the opening tag. href is an attribute. ID is an attribute. Class is an attribute. Alt is an attribute. Yes? src is an attribute. They're written in the opening of the tag. Great. This is another one. It's called data. They're using this for us to let the script know how we want to animate this. Does that make sense? Okay, great. So let's go back to my finished cooked example. And here's an example. It's just selecting everything for some reason. All right, copy. Okay, we're going to target the wrapper. What the trick with this is you can target any element with this, but the trick is we're going to scroll that wrapper. Instead of moving individual selections, we're going to move this whole tray. We're going to move it to the left, and we're going to move it like this, and then we're going to move it like that. Pretty cool? Yeah. Because this whole tray is holding 4x4. We need to move this whole tray like this. So we put it in the opening of the wrapper. And this is using CSS. Translate is a CSS property. So at data 0, it's like the first stage of this animation. At 0, I want you to be here. 0, 0. Translate is like XY coordinate. And you can put these little returns in there, makes it helpful to see that. All right. So this P stands for percentage, and it just kind of it's a variable term, but I'm just going to put 100p, and then I'm going to say, all right, I want this to go right 50%, or maybe it's negative 50. I don't remember. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we're saying between 0 and 100, which is related to the scroll. Does that make sense? Like, that's the beginning and this is the end. The final is the last number that you put on this is going to be the end of your scroll. And the first number is going to be the beginning of your scroll. And the amount, let's say you put 700 instead of 100, it's just going to take longer to get down there. So if we put 10, let's put 3,000. So this kind of represents the end of your, it's just going to take longer to get down. Just got more time to work with. Okay. So I want it to move right. I think I just swapped those. So I'm going to put this at a 0. Didn't save that. Save.
You just
Save, save, save. Then I gotta refresh. And I'm gonna get this out of the way. Sorry. There it goes. To the right. Yeah?
Okay.
Pretty cool, eh?
Yeah.
And you could do this all the way to the right for all your sections. If you wanted to. And each section you'd have to do a new translate. So let's go to my finished cooked version. So between 0 and 100, I'm just going to have it stay put. Between 200 and 300, I'm going to have it translate to its first section. And then I'm going to have it stay put. I'm going to have it, actually between 100 and 200, I'm going to have it move. Between 200 and 300, I'm going to have it stay put. Between 300 and 400, I'm going to have it move. Between 400 and 500, notice these are exactly the same.
Why is this in your HTML?
It is.
It is. I thought it was CSS property.
They are CSS properties, but I'm writing them inline on the tag because I'm animating this, and it lets the script know what I want to do. So we're just writing it using this data attribute. There's an additional where you can actually do this in a CSS format, an external format, if you wanted to. It's part of the script, but this is just easier. Okay. So this is the completed version. Let's look at that one. All right. Oh, wait. My cooked version's not working now. Ah, crumb. My dog says, fiddlesticks. That's her catchphrase. So I'm just going to check my paths and all that just by rebooting this whole thing. Open that. Fiddlesticks. Okay, so my script. Oh, my script got overwritten. So I'll just copy that one over there. Don't mind me. Okay, that should fix it. Let's see. Yeah, we're back to business. Okay, so notice I got little fade-ins there. See that? 1, 2, 3, 4. See that? So these are all in cahoots with the first one. And you could abandon this quad and just animate little elements. That's an easier route. Okay? So if you just wanted to have a scroll sites up, you wouldn't have to do any of this stuff. You just have to initiate scroller and then change the data attributes. All right, so if we go to source code, so the first one's set up just like I showed you, and that's kind of the master. That's like the key frames, right? Between 0 and 100 is when all my animation for my first section is going to happen, between 0 and 100. Between 100 and 200, things are going to move, and then that's my second section. Between 200 and 300, that's when all the things in my second section need to animate in. And then I'm going to move to the next one, and then all the stuff for the fourth animation needs to happen. And so on and so forth. So this is between 0 and 50, fades in, and then between 100 and 200 it goes to the next section. This is between 200 and 250, and between 300 and 400, that's when we move. So that's how you sequence these things. That's how you get them in cahoots. So let's look at that. All right, so I'm just transitioning this H1, and I'm using different CSS properties as an example. So I want my opacity to start at 0%. By 50, I want that to be 100%. I want my margin top to be 50 pixels. By 50, I want it to be 0 pixels. So if we look at that animation, we can see that that's what's happening. Between 0 and 50, it was at 50 pixels down, and it's slowly getting up to 0. and it was 0% opacity, slowly getting up to 1.
Basically, we put the transform property on whatever we want to like fade in or.
It's not transform. I would see why you would think that. It's actually, notice there's no transform here. It's actually this data attribute that's letting the code know what you want to change.
But we put that inside the tag.
Put it right in the opening of the tag, just like any other attribute. So notice here's the beginning of that tag. It's just indented so you could see it each chain more clearly. That's a great question. But notice what I'm changing here is just CSS properties. Does that make sense? I think I can do color. Let's see. And they're separated by, they're just straight up CSS inside those quotes. So let's see if I can do color blue, color green. So those are CSS properties. It's the font color. Yeah, it does. See, look at that. Blue to green. Didn't tween it very well, but it did snap to the other one. Probably have to give it a hex code or something for it to work. But that's still pretty good. Yeah. Overall questions on that business? So there's a couple of options, and I would just gingerly apply this. I would get it straight up, a scroll side just like we've been doing, and then apply the next one, and then apply the next one, because it works basically the same way. Just put a wrapper. You just put a wrapper around it, and fix positioning, and then you can scroll wherever you want, or you can just select individual elements and say between 50 and 100, I want you to fade in. Make sense? Or like, let's say you've established your first one as 100 and your last one at 700. You can have a plane go all the way across at those two things. Just absolutely positioning, making it 100%, which would be all the way to the right, down to 0% all the way to the left, which is pretty cool. Okay? You kind of have to think in this relative way. Just like I was talking about, 100% of my height is 5'10", but 100% of your height might be 5'5". Okay. Stop that.